Episode 351. Swordpoint had fallen. Not a single one of the brothers he'd called in had survived. On the rain-slick street, Soft Mist stood as tenaciously as before. She held her ground to the very end, for now she had two new comrades by her side.
Ruthless. Absolutely ruthless.
Chen Guo, who had witnessed the whole thing, gave her final verdict. Not only the mastermind, but even the potential accomplices had been wiped out, and it was a complete, one-sided slaughter. Watching this PK was an absolute delight, and Chen Guo was thrilled. He was utterly disappointed that the launcher on screen wasn't him. He was already picturing how amazing it would be to fight side by side with Ye Shu and Tang Ru. And these two, after such an incredible fight, they must be absolutely thrilled right now, right? Chen Guo looked left and right, only to find Ye Shu's expression was unnervingly calm. No, it wasn't even calm. It was downright listless, like he couldn't muster a shred of energy. He was hunched over, practically plastered to the computer screen, looking utterly lifeless. He looked like a hopeless mess, the kind that just makes your blood boil.
Oh, it's nothing. Carry on with the mission.
Ye Shu said.
Okay.
Tang Ru acknowledged.
That's it? It's over, just like that?
Chen Guo couldn't believe it. The PK was over and they just went back to questing. No post-fight chatter, no excitement, just silence. If it were me, a battle that thrilling, with such a decisive victory in the end, would have me excitedly chatting about it with my friends for a week straight. Jianfeng Suaji respawned in Kongji City. He hadn't dropped any gear or items, but that 10% experience loss was a real kick in the teeth. But what really ate at him was how the fight had turned. It had seemed like a sure thing, snatching the Christmas thief back from Soft Mist. Who could have predicted so many complications would arise? In the end, not only did he die, but every single one of the brothers who rushed to his aid also fell. Resurrection in the city always happened at the same spot. Not long after Swordpoint's return appeared, he saw his guild brothers materialize one by one beside their characters. They just stood there dumbstruck, not saying a word for a long moment. Getting stomped when you set out to do the stomping is a truly infuriating experience. So what's the next move? Could it be they're thinking of going back to settle the score? But with just the few people they had on hand, Swordpoint really didn't dare entertain that idea. After all, he knew Lord Grimm was backed by the great Ye Chu. Of course, he also knew that behind Windward Formation was Su Mucheng, not to mention how formidable Soft Mist was. Their recent team wipe made it clear, a small group is useless here. They need numbers. If we need numbers, then we'll have to rely on the guild. But at that moment, the entire guild was focused on the Christmas event. Swordpoint's move was just a spur-of-the-moment idea. He hadn't consulted Chen Yahui about it, and Chen Yahui had never given any instructions on how to handle an encounter with Ye Chu or his companions during the event. But Swordpoint's impulsive move had backfired spectacularly, leaving him utterly humiliated. How was he supposed to explain this to Chen Yahui now? The others around him remained silent. They weren't close friends of Swordpoint. They were just fellow members of his hunting party, operating in the same area during the event. After realizing Soft Mist was a tough opponent, Swordpoint gathered his men with great care, only to lead them straight to their doom.
Whoa, Lord Grimm really is something else.
One of them spoke up.
Indeed.
Swordpoint hurriedly agreed. By exaggerating Lord Grimm's strength, he could hopefully ease their resentment over him calling them here.
We should have brought more people.
Another person said.
He wasn't there at the start.
Swordpoint hurriedly defended himself, and he wasn't wrong. Lord Grimm hadn't shown up yet when he called for backup.
So what do we do now?
The third person spoke, and Swordpoint was also pondering the issue. Going back to do quests as if nothing happened was fine for him, but he couldn't face his brothers like that. But to go and pick another fight, and with Ye Chu of all people, with the likes of us.
We'll need to call in more backup.
Another man, clearly still fuming, was determined to get even. Sword's Point was about to retort when a new message chimed in. He opened it. It was from the guild leader, Chen Yahui.
What's going on?
You already know about it?
Swordpoint was in an awkward spot. At this critical juncture in the new server, where everyone was racing for levels and glory, he'd just caused a full party wipe. Lost experience, lost morale, lost face. It was a complete reversal of the team's efforts.
They're talking about it in the channel.
Damn.
Swordpoint had completely forgotten about that. He quickly checked the guild channel, and sure enough, his buddies were there, venting their righteous indignation. No wonder none of them had said a word when they respawned. They'd all run off to the guild channel to rant.
I ran into soft mist.
Seeing the guild leader already knew, Swordpoint gave a rundown of what happened. He emphasized that he'd thought it was a sure thing, which is why he made his move. He never expected Soft Mist to be so tenacious, holding out for so long. She realized she was in trouble and called for backup, and then her backup called for backup. And then we got wiped out.
How could you few possibly be a match?
Exactly.
That Ye Chu, wherever he goes, he causes trouble for us.
Right.
Swordpoint agreed, but he was also a bit puzzled. What did they mean by causing trouble? Seems like you were the one who started the trouble, and then got hit back hard, right? We're all on the same side, yet the guild leader still has to talk like he's above us.
Have you checked the Christmas Hunter rankings?
Yeah, I saw it. We're way out in front.
I'm talking about the individual rankings for the level bracket between 31 and 35.
Swordpoint immediately flipped to the first page, scanning the top 20 names. The sight filled him with pure, unadulterated delight. The hunter's ranking displayed a character's basic info: name, gender, class, level, and guild. The final column, the ranking itself, was determined by points. What truly delighted Swordpoint was the guild column. Out of the top 20 players, their excellent Dynasty guild completely dominated the first 15 spots. He himself was among them, ranked 9th. Swordpoint knew exactly why they dominated the top 15 spots. They had engineered it themselves. Take Swordpoint and his 6 companions, for example. Their team would funnel as many Christmas thieves as possible to Swordpoint himself. Naturally, he ended up securing a high ranking with ease. And the same went for the other 14 players on the list. Every single one of them used the same tactic.